You know, when I started watching this movie for review, I fully expected this to have aged horribly. It hasn't, though, oddly. It comes from a time where you could just point a camera at an object and talk over the footage. Movies like Look Who's Talking were massive blockbuster hits, so it's not surprising that somebody did it with animals. The movie also has a stellar voice cast. Michael J. Fox voices Chance, Sally Field voices Sassy, and Don Amici voices Shadow. There's also some humans in here as well. I actually found myself getting quite emotional and highly invested in these characters.
Shadow?
Oh, Shadow.
Like, for real, I had a golden retriever when I was a boy, and even though he died of pneumonia long before he reached his golden years, everything with Shadow in this film was hitting me hard. So the plot is pretty simple. Bob and his family have to move to San Francisco for his job. It's a temporary thing, but they decide to leave their pets at a friend's farm. You know, and at this point, really, you're going to either buy into the talking dogs premise or you're going to check out completely. If you just kind of let it happen, have that suspension of belief, you're probably going to have a good time. A week goes by and their owners don't return. Shadow, the wise leader of the group, decides that something must be wrong with Peter, his person, and comes up with a plan to get all three of them home. The plan is simple. Instead of taking the long way around the mountain, they'll just go up and over the top. Thus begins this incredible journey.
Well, I don't think they're really made out of dog.
I don't think they're made of meat.
They taste the best when they fall in the dirt.
Along the way, they'll face dangers from other animals like bobcats and bears, and of course natural dangers like crossing a roaring river. It all mostly works. Fans of animal films from this time will be pleased to see old Bart out here doing his thing. My only complaint about this film is the overuse of long shots. It's filled with scenes of the animals running from one side of the screen to the other, but that no doubt made it easier for the filmmakers to give the appearance of conversations happening between them, and honestly it kind of pays off. The Oregon wilderness here is gorgeous. The movie is based off of a 1963 film, The Incredible Journey, which itself is based on a 1961 book, The Incredible Journey. The original film follows the book more closely, but for Homeward Bound, they kind of just did their own thing. I mentioned this before, but I just gotta say it again. I'm an emotional biatch with this movie. Like, what genius dug that death hole and just put some boards over the top? Or this scene where Shadow saves this little lost girl.
No, don't be afraid. Good dog.
Doggy.
I certainly cannot watch this with other people. There are tears running down my face every time. There's also not a ton of information about the creation of this 1993 classic. It was directed by Dwayne Dunham and was mostly filmed in Oregon. I can't find a single interview with the makers of this film, which I find surprising considering the billable voice cast. It's likely they made the rounds to promote the film, but I couldn't find anything. It was well received by critics and audiences alike, and it's notable for being one of the few live-action films featuring talking animals. Homeward Bound spawned a successful sequel, and that brings me to... And now it's time for Should Hollywood Do a Remake, a Sequel, or Leave It the Hell Alone? I don't know, maybe a sequel? Ah, fuck. I personally don't think this movie should be remade. The only thing really dated about the film are the clothes and the cars, but that doesn't really hold it back since it's mostly about the animals. Besides, if they remade the film today, they would force all sorts of technology into it, like tracking devices on the animals or some sort of app that's also available in the App Store right now.
7. 6.
Or worse, they would use CGI animals, and does anyone really like that? I don't know. Comment below if you like CGI animals, or if you think this movie should be remade. A modern sequel could work. It wouldn't have to be related to this family or these animals for obvious sad reasons. But if they wanted to force it, these kids are all grown up now, and there could be a Sir Chance the Third or something. Overall, this is a great film for older kids and adults alike. I'm Junkman, and I would really appreciate it if you did all the normal things below with the buttons, and thank you for watching.
You're my favorite boy in the world. Oh, I love you.
Yeah.